The Electric Company's public information program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower costs to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times. The electric industry strives day and night to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now your Better Living Radio Theater brings you the story, A Million Words, A Million Songs. A dramatic account of the tremendous growth of radio and the phonograph and their impact on our lives. This is the first in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later you will hear from today's guest, Mr. Gwilyn A. Price, President of Westinghouse Electric Corporation. Today you depend on the radio for the latest news, fine music of every type, comedy and dramatic entertainment, and information on all aspects of the world. Your phonograph, like your radio, plugs into that little socket there instantly, effortlessly. What were the radio and the phonograph like in the old days? What have the electronics industry and the electric companies contributed to your joy of living? Come back with me more than 30 years to a small American city. Like any small city, North Haven has its music teacher who teaches piano, violin, singing, snare drum, and cello.
That's right, Effie. You practice your cello every day and remember the recital next spring. Now tell Mama you're doing right well. See you next Tuesday, same time. That child's going to drive me crazy.
What's wrong, Mr. Keller?
Oh, she's too fat, Philip. Weighs 160 pounds. She can't get her arms around to play the cello.
Maybe you ought to tell her not to play it.
Oh, her mama would scalp me. Besides, Philip, when you get to my stage in life, you have to earn $1 any way you can. Now, we'd better get on with your lesson. Where'd I put it? Flute and 10 easy lessons? No, that's not it. Clarinet book for advanced students. Nope.
But, Mr. Keller, I don't use a book for piano.
Uh-huh. Now, Philip, you think I've lost my wits again. I know who you are. I know what you play. I know you're my best student, and I know you aren't going to play the piano today.
I'm not?
I've got something for you to listen to. A brand new record of a French pianist playing Debussy.
Who?
Debussy, a great composer, Philip. Though people don't think much of him yet. They will. Now, here's the record. I want you to listen to it over and over. It's wonderful music, Philip. And I want you to listen to this man play it, because you'll play it even better someday. Crank up the phonograph while I put it on, will you?
When Thomas Edison invented a talking machine, he saw very little future for it except as a toy. Later, he thought it might be useful in business for recording dictation. This was after others had slowly and painfully improved the earlier machine. After they had developed a flat disc recording similar in shape to that we know today. After they had developed a method of making many copies of one master record. In the first 20 years of this century, the phonograph, the graphophone, it went by these and many other names, was the sole way in which the music of minstrels and of masters was reproduced in American homes. It inspired many a young musician like Phil to greater efforts.
Phil, here I am over here.
Hello, Karen.
Welcome home.
Thanks. Where's your father?
Where is he always? Home giving a lesson. You look terribly tired.
Music school gets harder and harder every year, Karen. I'm worn out.
Well, you've a whole summer to rest in, and then just one more year.
And then what? A job playing the organ in a movie house?
Oh, Phil. Phil, you're not serious.
Maybe I am. Let's leave these bags at my house. Then I want to see your father.
Oh, now, see here, Philip. Karen's right. You're tired. I know how it is. I get tired myself being with music all day. You're not giving up your piano. Why, you can't. You've worked too hard.
I've worked hard for 3 years, and a good many years before that, Mr. Keller. But now I know. I'm not good enough to be a top pianist.
You're giving up too easily.
You gave up? Why aren't you giving concerts in a big hall instead of teaching all kinds of kids in a living room?
Phil. Phil, you shouldn't have said that. You hurt him.
Karen, it's all right.
I'm sorry. Very sorry, Mr. Keller.
No, my boy. Don't be sorry. You're right. I gave up. But I had to. Karen's mother died when she was born. But I know this. If you give up music now, you'll regret it. Because it's born in you. And you can never get away from it. That's why I teach the tone deaf, the people with 2 left hands, little fat girls who want to play the cello, but somehow they still want music. And I'll see they get as much as they can get.
With the introduction of the electric motor, the phonograph brought music to the home as fast as the power lines could reach into town and village, into the farm, far from concert halls and auditoriums. Here was music, great music, popular music, as easily at hand as man had ever known it. The names of Paderewski, Chrysler, Caruso, and Kubelik were household terms, thanks to the phonograph. Then suddenly, the phonograph and record business was faced with a new rival.
The radio, Phil, my boy. I suppose you do quite a lot of listening on your set at home in the evenings.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Masters, my mother won't allow a radio set in the house.
She won't.
She says she won't have those evil-smelling batteries in our house, not even in the kitchen. However, after I get through at Dad's office, I go over to the neighbors and listen.
What do you hear?
Oh, I began a couple of years ago when all you could get was KDKA in Pittsburgh. Then we could get Coon Sanders Nighthawks out in Kansas City. Now there's a lot you can listen to. The Ipana Troubadours, the A&P Gypsies, and Mary Garden in Chicago.
I thought you'd given up music.
I don't play anymore. I just listen. It's fun to play around with a novelty.
Oh, you think it's a novelty?
Well, yes.
Let me show you something. Have you seen a set like this one here on my desk?
It looks like most of the others. What's so different?
Look, where are the batteries? This runs on the electric light circuit, Phil. Here, just plug it in and turn it on.
Say, I'll have to tell Mother about this.
Phil, there are millions more just like your mother. They've held off buying a radio set till it can be plugged in, till the set gets simpler. I've been watching things, Phil. There are a lot of new broadcasting stations going up, and I'm going to have one myself.
Right here in North Haven?
I have the license already. Now I have to get a microphone and a couple of other things. And with somebody to help me, I am in business.
What are you going to broadcast?
News, farm reports, records, and local talent. That's where I want you to come in. I was talking to your dad, and he thought maybe you'd come over and play the piano sometimes and talk about music.
He knows I'm not in music anymore.
But, Phil, everybody around here knows you're the best musician the town has.
You'll have to count me out, Mr. Masters. But why don't you try Fred Keller?
I thought you said that you and he had parting of the ways.
No. I just haven't seen him or Karen in 3 years. Try him. But don't ever tell him or Karen I made this suggestion.
On Christmas Eve, 1907, a brilliant Canadian, Reginald Fessenden, frightened a few ship's operators out of their wits by actually broadcasting the sound of the human voice. More than one newspaper man was almost fired for reporting the event. But in the early 20s, radio suddenly boomed when Harding's election as president was broadcast, and when another daring radio pioneer broadcast the Dempsey-Furpo fight. In September 1921, there were 4 stations on the air. By the end of 1922, the unbelievable number of 528. By the end of 1926, there were more than 700. With the development of the home electric-powered receiver, radio had zoomed past the record business as America's favorite home entertainment.
Karen? Karen!
What is it, Father?
It's almost 9 o'clock.
I know. Please lie back and rest. You know what the doctor said.
But I want the radio turned on. I want to hear what Mr. Masters are going to put on in place of my
The
program.
doctor said you ought not to listen. Now, don't worry. You'll be all right. You haven't missed a program in 3 years. You'll be back next week.
That's a lie, and you know it.
Well, a month, perhaps.
Well, I'm not even going to wait for somebody to tell me tomorrow what went on at 9 tonight. Turn on that radio, or I'll get off this couch and do it myself.
Well, the doctor said you oughtn't, but not you mustn't. Listen.
Say, I know that record. Where have I heard it?
Please, Father, lie back.
Good evening, everyone. I want you to know that your friend, Fred Keller, is resting comfortably tonight. I was there myself a short while ago.
Now, who's that doggone liar?
Be
You
quiet.
see, I used to be a pupil of Mr. Keller's, and I know what he's meant to this city. To those of us who have studied with him, to those of us who have heard this broadcast.
I know that voice. Why, it's Phil.
Yes, Phil.
He was here. You gave him that record.
Yes.
I think he's the finest musician I know, because he's made music live for so many of us. But he's gone beyond that. He's made music live before its time. You know how he hailed Gershwin before Gershwin was widely popular. I can go back further than that. The record you just heard now was by a composer who's just now being hailed as one of the greats in serious music. Fred Keller played that for me and predicted his acceptance. And tonight, I'm going to play some more of his wonderful collection and tell you about them.
It was to be some time after this, after Phil and Karen were married, that the record industry made its great comeback, thanks to radio itself and to the electronics industry. In many an American home, the simple act of plugging a cord into an electric outlet means that both radio and phonograph are connected, bringing at any hour of any day more music, more entertainment, more enlightenment to more people than ever before in mankind's history. You're listening to a transcription now. And now may I present today's guest of Better Living Radio Theater, Mr. Gwilyn A. Price, President of Westinghouse Electric Corporation.
Radio still is an amazing triumph of science, workman's skill, and human enterprise. This makes a particularly close bond between radio and good, dependable electric power. There can be little doubt that each of these modern miracles in the past half-century has been a tremendous factor in changing the world we live in and in advancing our standard of living. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Price. You have been listening to Mr. Gwilyn A. Price, President of Westinghouse Electric Corporation. Mr. Price was today's guest on Better Living Radio Theater, which has brought you the story, A Million Words, A Million Songs. The first in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when your Better Living Radio Theater will present George Washington's Gingerbread Man, the dramatic story of Christopher Ludwig, the first Baker General of the American Army. Until then, this is Wendell Niles wishing you better living. Electric Company's public information program brings you your better living radio theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower costs to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times. The electric industry strives day and night to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now your better living radio theater brings you George Washington's Gingerbread Man, the story of Christopher Ludwig, Washington's chief baker who captured Hessians with bread. This is the second in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later you will hear from today's guest, Mr. E. Kelly, President of the American Bakers Association. And now, the story of Christopher Ludwig, George Washington's Gingerbread Man, a drama which has certain dramatic modern parallels. Advanced 50 miles today, need fuel and food. Reverse that. Need food and fuel. Signed, Patton. Long before Patton and Eisenhower and Ridgway, long before Lee and Grant, long before Napoleon said an army travels on its stomach, George Washington was to know what bread means to fighting men. He was to know that oftentimes it's not the number of men and guns that determine the outcome of a battle, but the condition of these men depend upon the food they eat. But now, come back in time almost 200 years to pre-revolutionary Philadelphia. In a fashionable store where men's clothing is sold, the proprietor, Mr. Adrian, slowly counts out money, watched by a humble man in sailor's clothing.
10, 15, 20, 25. There you are, Herr Ludwig. It's a hard bargain you've driven with me.
Thank you, Mr. Adrian. I thank you. You have dealt honestly with me.
Are you going to settle here on this side of the Atlantic?
Someday, but not now.
You desire to see more of the world?
I love America, but I must return to England for a while.
You're married, Herr Ludwig?
I have been a sailor too long, Mr. Adrian. Pardon my little joke. I wish to do well in America. Since my arrival, I have looked about to learn what trade it will be best for me to follow here.
And you have chosen?
My first, which my father taught me, God rest his soul. I shall become a baker.
If you know it already, why are you going to London?
I can bake bread with my eyes blindfold, Mr. Adrian. But to build a fortune, I must learn to make fancy cakes and cookies. I am a man of no formal education. My greatest sadness in life, I can read but little. So I shall go back to London, learn to bake fancy goods, and then return. I shall come back. Do not fear.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. My my good friend Ludwig. I've been waiting for you.
Your pardon, Mr. Franklin, your humble pardon. On my way, I had the opportunity to buy 100 weight of flour for our army. With General Washington in need, I could not miss the opportunity.
General Washington and the Congress have been highly impressed with your supplying of the troops in Pennsylvania.
I am but a poor baker of gingerbread, but at my age, it is better I bake bread than carry a musket.
Suppose, friend Ludwig, you had the power to judge a man guilty or innocent.
I, a judge? I, who can barely read and write?
May I read something to you? Attend. We, the members of the Continental Congress, hereby commission Christopher Ludwig, Superintendent of Bakers and Director of Baking in the Army of the United States.
Superintendent? Director? I do not understand, Mr. Franklin.
Friend Ludwig, as sure as my name is Benjamin Franklin, you are the only man we can trust to feed the Continental Army. The only man our young United States can trust not to cheat us. Hungry men cannot fight, no matter how deep the desire for liberty burns. Your father would be proud.
He would be very proud.
I, too, am proud of you. I was fortunate to be born in this land of liberty. But when I look at you and the others in our cause who were born in Europe, I begin to believe that America is not a matter of birthplace, but of the heart.
I have come to tell you this in confidence, Mr. Franklin, but I hope I am to be considered a loyal American.
I have heard of your bravery in battle, Colonel Adrian. What is your business?
You know Christopher Ludwig.
Ludwig is one of our greatest patriots.
I wish that were true.
Colonel Adrian, choose your words carefully.
On my honor, Mr. Franklin, I measure my words. I knew Ludwig when he first came to Philadelphia almost 30 years ago. I would rather believe treason of my own brother. A week ago, he came to our command to inspect our ovens. I welcomed him. We had been eating boot soles and powder pouches until he ordered the farmers to share their grain with us. 3 nights ago, I had come from an inspection of the guards. As I came near his tent, I heard him conversing inside. I did not mean to eavesdrop, but the guttural of a Hessian prisoner caught my ear.
Nein, it is good, but I cannot eat no more, Herr Ludwig.
You will not try my gingerbread, Sergeant?
I do not touch your English gingerbread.
The English and you Hessians are allies, is that not so?
May the English rot in the tracks. Take me back to brother Hessians.
First, take this gingerbread with you. Your fellow prisoners may wish to eat it.
Colonel Adrian, the Hessian prisoners have escaped.
Huh? What? Oh, stop babbling, man. What?
The Hessian prisoners have escaped, sir.
Are you certain?
They've escaped through the big iron door at the rear of the guardhouse. I found this on the inside of the lock.
Where did that key come from?
I do not know. I searched the guardhouse before I came to report. They've been eating something that appears to be gingerbread, sir. And you see, here on this key they used for their escape, it appears to be gingerbread.
I have been able to reach but the one conclusion, Mr. Franklin. Ludwig put that key in the gingerbread he gave to his Hessian visitor.
Have you talked with Ludwig himself, Colonel Adrian?
Not yet. I have known him for a longer time, but he is closer to you. I thought it best to discuss the matter with you.
You are the commander of the post?
I am.
Ludwig's commission and power comes from General Washington, but it is also dependent upon the commander of the post where he is. It is in your hands now, Colonel, and my advice is face him with it.
Be careful. Be careful or no Christmas bread for you. Scrape the pans well, but do not drop them. You want the fires to go through the metal? Roll the barrels to that side, Dummkopf. The cooks need the barrels on that side, not in the horse trough. Colonel Adrian, the greetings of an old friend. You have come back.
Yes, Ludwig, I've come back. I wish to talk with you in private.
In a moment. We have found flour for your soldiers' Christmas bread. Your soldiers will not eat shoes this Christmas.
You are generous with your bread.
Please, my friend, you're angry with old Ludwig who feeds your soldiers?
It is a matter we must discuss alone. Ludwig, who is that man?
Man, which man? I have many men working.
That one rolling the barrel there. I've seen him before.
Oh, you have. Gustav Müller, come here.
Ludwig, you wish me?
This is your new commander, Gustav. My old friend, Colonel Adrian. You recognize him, my friend? You recognize the Hessian sergeant who was our prisoner last week? He has deserted and brought back many Hessians. His fellow prisoners escaped with a little key I give them. They have all come back with 50 Hessians to join us. Ludwig cannot fight, but he can make bread and cakes and gingerbread that tells how rich America is. You are not pleased, my colonel?
Very pleased, Ludwig. In fact, I'm a very happy man. Except about what I shall have to say about myself to Benjamin Franklin.
As we go about our business and household tasks today, bread is plentiful and inexpensive for most of us. Especially if you live in a city or town, you give little thought to how it comes to you. You may never have visited the back rooms of the bakery you pass each day. In some specialty bakeries, bread is still mixed by hand. But in the usual bakery of average size, there are more than 160 electric motors, ranging from small ones of 1/6 horsepower to large ones of 50 horse. These motors run the mixers, the large conveyors that move the dough smoothly, evenly, quietly through the ovens, that helps bring you 40 million loaves of bread daily. Ludwig fought as valiantly for liberty as any soldier in the field. And Lord Cornwallis surrendered. Ludwig has one of his last meetings with a great man who has been his idol and commander-in-chief.
Old gentleman, I have one more request to make of you.
You will always be my commander, General Washington.
Poor Ludwig, we shall have to decorate you for your loss of your eye.
It was not a bullet, General, merely a cake of flour falling on my head.
Flour for the soldiers, old gentleman. Flour to keep them alive for one more battle.
It was nothing. You have a request?
Lord Cornwallis' men are starving.
The poor men.
Yes, the poor men. We won with bread as well as with bullets, old gentleman. But now, can you summon your bakers to bake 6,000 pounds of bread for Lord Cornwallis's troops?
Have I ever failed you, my general?
Never, old gentleman, never. Let the bread be good, and let there be enough of it if I should want myself.
And now we present our guest for today, Mr. E. Kelly, President of the American Bakers Association.
The story of Christopher Ludwig, which you have just heard, is a story of patriotic service performed by a baker at the time of our nation's greatest need. In that day, baking was a very unimportant part of our national business, but that was a long time ago. Low-cost electrical power, available everywhere, has been an important factor in the growth of our industry, and in the fact that, because her baker serves her daily, today's housewife spends less time in the kitchen, more time on other matters important to her family's daily life.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. You have been listening to Mr. E. Kelly, President of the American Bakers Association. Mr. Kelly was today's guest of the Better Living Radio Theater, which has brought you the drama George Washington's Gingerbread Man, the second in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Be with us again at the same time next week when your Better Living Radio Theater will present another program in this series. Until then, this is Wendell Niles wishing you better living. Electric Company's public information program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower cost to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times. Electricity is at work to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now your Better Living Radio Theater brings you The Night the Mountain Caught Fire. Stirring tales from the history of our most versatile source of heat and energy, the black gold known as coal. This is the third in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later, you will hear from today's guest, Mr. Tom Pickett, Executive Vice President of the National Coal Association. And now your Better Living Radio Theater presents today's story, The Night the Mountain Caught Fire. Portsmouth, Ohio, another huge plant for the making of uranium-235 will be located near here. It will use more electric power than most large cities. The two generating plants whose output will be used in the making of atomic energy materials will be financed by private utility companies at a cost estimated to be more than $400 million. The plants will be fueled with coal and prospectively will require 7 million tons of coal annually. Coal touches the life of every person and every productive activity. It heats our homes and offices. It has been among our most sought-after mineral since the early days of our republic. Soon after Washington was inaugurated, we began to look for coal fields which would fire our forges and turn out the tools of commerce upon which this young nation would have to depend. Rewards were offered for the discovery of new coal fields. In the Pottsville district of Pennsylvania, a hunter named Nicholas Allen and a friend had been on the trail all day. And at nightfall...
Oh, there she goes, Ned.
What? Where is what, Nick?
The sun flopped right down behind the mountain and left us in darkness.
I thought you had something wise to say.
Oh, you're certainly a cheery fellow this evening.
You should laugh. You've had no better luck finding game than I, Nick Allen.
I know, and I'm as starving as you. Say, what do you say we bed down for the night? This projecting ledge will make good shelter.
Ain't you promised to be home?
I promised, but it's too far to go. I'll probably catch thunderation in the morning, but I'll be rested for catching it if we bed down now.
Well, a fire would be welcome.
Who wishes a fire? We've not to cook on it.
Aye, and I've had my heart set on fresh meat. A big, juicy...
Stop, man, stop, or your tears will undermine Broad Mountain here. Come, spread your blanket and you can dream of all the fine victuals you'll have tomorrow.
Oh, no, please, Nick. Let's have a fire to warm our bones.
All right, man, all right. It'll be cheery while we spread our blankets anyway. Gather some sticks and we'll strike the tinder to 'em.
Nick.
What? What is it?
Wake up, Nick.
What? You set fire to me.
No, Nick. Look, the ledge had caught fire.
The ledge? The whole mountain? Quick, gather your gun and blanket.
It's the work of the devil.
Devil or not, we've set the mountain ablaze. Hurry, man. Come below.
The next morning, Nicholas Allen, somewhat skeptical about the mysterious fire being the devil's work, returned to the spot where he had camped the night before. He discovered that what he had believed was a ledge was actually a projecting outcrop of mineral coal, which he had ignited with his campfire of sticks. Throughout Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia, coal fields were discovered in this and other strange ways. Meanwhile, the East filled with industry. The new steam engine turned lathes and shuttles and looms. Steam pulled railroad trains. Steam powered the new ships. On every hand, there was a demand for coal, coal and more coal. Then, in the 1840s, a Kentucky ironmaster began work on a process which was to increase the nation's need for the black rock, whole mountains of it.
Good morning, Kelly. I got a task for you this morning.
Well, I'm always ready for a task, Billings.
Well, my wife's ears are stopped up. She can't hear a word I say, and she talks all the time.
Oh.
Now, if I bring her here, will you blow air through her ears so she can hear what I have to say?
Aye, Billings, bring her. But I pity her when she has to listen to you.
Oh. Say, how much steel have you made this morning in your contraption, Kelly?
Oh, you know the answer. None so far. I only wish I had the air power of your lungs to force through my iron. I'd have steel in a matter of minutes. Billings, you've hunted the Kentucky hills for many years. You build a fire, and when you want the fire larger and hotter, what do?
Why,
You use those fine lungs of yours to blow on it. The fire gets hotter, doesn't it?
Well, yes, but...
There's no need to say but. It grows hotter just as your fire in your fireplace grows hotter when you use the bellows. I wish to make steel. I wish to burn off the impurities of iron. Then I must have a higher heat. I only wish I had 1,000 men like you, with you blowing your lungs at my crucible. Then I would have the tremendous force of air I am now trying to find by other means.
There's no doubt about it, Mr. Kelly. You have perfected a method that will enable us to make steel and replace 1,000 articles of iron with better, stronger, cheaper objects. This converter of yours could make you a rich man if my company and other iron companies in America put it into use.
I know there are riches in it, Mr. Masters. But there are riches for everyone who uses iron and who will use steel. My neighbors will have better knives. My friends will have better rails to ride on. My acquaintances will have stronger, safer engines pulling their boats. We'll travel over safer bridges, and in time, we may even build houses with steel.
I have fine dreams, except for one thing, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, Mr. Masters?
It's incredible to you, perhaps, but someone else, thousands of miles away, has perfected this same process of making steel from coal, manganese, silicon, iron, and air before you.
Why, you're joking.
I wish I were for your sake. But an Englishman, Henry Bessemer, has applied for patents for a method very similar to yours.
It's impossible.
No, Bessemer's converter has been in use in Sheffield, England. Didn't work well at first, but a man named Mushet, Robert Mushet, I believe, suggested the addition of spiegelicin, containing carbon and manganese. This has improved the process to the point where Bessemer will undoubtedly be granted the American patents.
When did this Bessemer first make steel by oxidization?
Last year, I believe.
Then why should he have the patent? I was making steel in this fashion almost 10 years ago.
Though Bessemer was granted the American patents, the Kentuckian Kelly later proved his early rights to the process. In a few years, the two men combined their interests, and the black gold of industry, coal, now not only powered America with steam engines, but also began to help build her bridges, her engines, her houses, her household articles. But even as late as 1850, human energy was still supplying 3/4 of all the energy put into the world's work. The steam engine was too large for many purposes, too complicated or too expensive for still other processes. The inventors of the late 19th century also had a new power to work with, electricity. It began to light sections of American cities. It ran our early telephones. Electric motors began to power railroads and shoe factories and mills. But the electrical pioneers experienced trouble in sending it over greater distances than 100 miles until a significant event took place in England in 1897.
Well, it's rather simple, really. Works like a windmill, my turbine. You compress the steam and let it loose in force against the blades of a shaft. Shaft spins, and that's all there is to it.
All there is to it? You make your steam turbine sound like a child's play, Mr. Parsons.
Well, it was a trifle more complicated than that.
It was impressive, most impressive, the way it drove your ship, the Turbinia, yesterday.
Oh, you saw it, did you now?
Came all the way from the States to see it.
Oh, where it had gone that far?
It's my business, Mr. Parsons. I'm an electrical engineer. For years, we've been searching for a way of generating electricity which will send great power over a long distance.
I see. Continue, please.
Well, I'm sure other American companies have or will want to talk to you about the rights to your turbine, Mr. Parsons. With a steam engine turning our dynamos, we're limited to about 100 miles. With your turbine turning the dynamos, getting greater power more easily, more economically, we think we might be able to send it many times that.
Well, I must say that on the Turbinia, our coal consumption was far less with a turbine than it might have been with a steam engine propelling her.
Are you interested in granting the American rights?
I might be. But this is new. The success of my turbine is very recent, though I've worked on it for many years. I shall need time to think it over, consider its future, as well as my own.
Within 3 years, the American coal industry was called upon for more mountains of coal to set afire. For Parsons granted rights to his turbine for use on this side of the Atlantic. By 1900, the first turbine-powered dynamos were in operation near Hartford, Connecticut. And within a short time, their use spread far and wide across the United States. The electric power industry was now able to furnish adequate power for more factories, more telephones, more home lighting and accessories. Ships and railroads alike put the turbine to intensive use. For while the turbine used less coal to make electricity, more coal actually was mined because of the vastly increased demand for electricity nationwide. In 1902, coal provided the electric power industry with a bare 2 billion kilowatt hours. In 1951, coal provided America with almost 225 billion kilowatt hours of light and power. It has been inevitable that, in turn, the coal industry has had to call upon electricity for help in mining the more than 500 million tons it mines today. As the steel, the airplane, the automobile, and a dozen other major industries have had to call on electric power to help solve the manpower problem, so the coal industry uses electricity today for speed and safety and volume. Many a mountain of coal has been set afire since Nicholas Allen's day, and we in the United States can be grateful that there are many, many more mountains to be set afire to help power America's industry in the years to come. And now, here is today's guest for your Better Living Radio Theater, Mr. Tom Pickett, Executive Vice President of the National Coal Association.
Ours is a land richly endowed by nature and blessed with the priceless heritage of freedom. No other nation has achieved so much. We have attained the richest economy and the highest standard of living in the history of mankind. Coal is one of our basic natural resources, which plays a vital and ever-increasing role in the life of our country. Today, coal contributes to nearly everything America eats, wears, buys, uses. The bond between coal and electric power is particularly close since so much of the electricity America uses is generated from coal. We are glad to participate in a program in which the keynote is better living.
Thank you, Mr. Pickett. You've been listening to Mr. Tom Pickett, Executive Vice President of the National Coal Association. Your Better Living Radio Theater has brought you The Night the Mountain Caught Fire, the third in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Be with us again the same time next week when your Better Living Radio Theater will present another program in this series. Until then, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, wishing you better living. The Electric Company's Public Information Program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower cost to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times. Electricity is at work to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. Now we bring you a story entitled Milk for Millions, a dramatic story of one of the great pioneers of America's dairy industry. This is the fourth in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later you will hear from today's guest, Mr. Theodore G. Montague, president of the Board and Company. And now your Better Living Radio Theater presents today's story, Milk for Millions. Washington, D.C., August 19, 1856. To Robert McFarland, editor, Scientific American, quote, "Our long battle is at an end. U.S. Patent Office today awarded me American patent on my process for condensing milk. My gratitude to you and Dr. John Curie for your tireless aid in helping me prove condensing in vacuo is unequaled and that evaporating milk must not be allowed to contact air." Unquote. Sign, Gail Borden. Man's hand and brain have combined to bring mankind its great inventions for better living. But to bring better living to the millions in America, it is necessary that the products of our great farms and factories be produced with reasonable cost and be distributed as widely as possible so that the greatest number may receive the greatest good from these inventions. Without electric power readily available in all parts of the nation, without power tools and electric motors to do the work of 10, 100, 1,000 men, our better living of today would be impossible. This is the story of Gail Borden, who worked to bring better living to Americans. This pioneer of dairy farming was born in upstate New York in 1801 in Norwich. And later he went to Indiana, where he taught school, to Mississippi, where he was a surveyor. And then he went on to Texas, where he settled down for a while until the California gold rush began and thousands of people began pouring through Texas near where he lived.
Oh, blast you. I say there, be your name Borden?
That's my name, sir.
Now, my name's Jared Potter. I'm a friend of Lieutenant Slocum's.
Oh? Well, I'm glad to know you.
Well, in fact, I used to be an Army contractor. That's how I knew the lieutenant. He's been telling me some interesting stories about you.
Has he?
You can see we've got a baby there in Nellie's arms.
Not more than 3 months, I'd say.
Oh, just about. And there's a couple of other young'uns back in the Conestoga wagon there. We're heading west, all of us.
It'd be better if you stayed here.
Lieutenant Slocum told us you'd say that.
I mean it. How long do you think that baby will live on the trail?
Oh, Nellie's healthy. She's nursed all the others. Strapping children they are, too.
She hasn't nursed them on the trail west. How long will she live herself?
What do you mean?
Nellie?
I left young Jim holding the reins. Tell me, sir, don't you think I'm strong enough to stand the trail?
You look strong enough now, Mrs. Potter, but 4 weeks from now. Look, day after day, I watch families like yours set forth on the trail to the goldfields of California. I've never been there myself, but I'm a surveyor. I've seen a lot of the country you'll pass through. I've seen the red sands and the sawtooth peaks of the desert. I've seen the bones of gold rushes along the way.
There's plenty of game farther west.
Not in the desert. I can believe any story, no matter how horrible, about starvation on the trail.
To hear you talk, no one's ever reached California.
Very few, ma'am, compared to those who started out. I suppose this is why Lieutenant Slocum sent you to me. He says I'm the pioneer's prophet of doom.
Lieutenant Slocum sent us for something else. It's the reason why we came to you.
You mean the meat biscuit? I'm sorry. When I last saw Lieutenant Slocum, I thought I was on the right track. I'd Worked a month, night after night, chopping steer beef and grinding cornmeal into a wet mash and then drying it and eating some of each new batch. I thought I was about to find what I wanted, but it molded. It still turns moldy. Until I can find something that doesn't mold, a mixture that'll last for months on the trail, I don't dare give any of my mashes to anyone.
A short time after our first scene, our pioneer struck upon using flour in his biscuits. By early 1850, his combination of beef extract and flour began to interest Army contractors. He manufactured several canisters for Dr. Elisha Kane to take on his first Arctic expedition. A patent was issued for the invention in February 1850, and after organizing a partnership to market the biscuits and building a factory, he went to London to show the English his new development in the field of food. On his return journey, Borden was on deck one evening when a man, whom he had met on his first day of the voyage, strolled to the rail beside him.
Whoa, Dr. Delaney. I've missed seeing you these past few days.
'Tis busy, I've been, sir. Very busy.
Busy? I thought this was a pleasure trip for you and your wife.
Have you not heard about the cows on shipboard, sir?
The cows? Yes, I've heard the rough passage has made them seasick, but I didn't know that you were,
A veterinarian? That I'm not. But 'tis the results of the cows being sick have made me busy. The children aboard, sir. More particularly the wee babies whom the cow's milk was supposed to have nourished. They're dying, sir.
Oh, you can't mean it.
2 dead today. I fear for another before morning.
There's no hope of getting any milk for these babies?
In mid-Atlantic?
Oh, I mean none of the cows is able to give even a quart or two of milk?
Yeah. I'm a doctor. I'm used to death, sir. But it seems something could be done to keep milk fresh for long voyages like this.
It would be worth working for. It would be worth working for, Doctor.
On his return to this country, our pioneer's thoughts were for a short while diverted by the sudden, surprising bankruptcy of his meat and flour biscuit factory and business. In despair, he sought shelter in New Lebanon, New York, with friends in the Shaker colony there. It was a stroke of good fortune for the dairy industry and mankind together. For while there, he noticed that the Shaker women, in preparing fruit for canning, were using a device like a huge kettle drum that caught his fancy.
Good morning, sister. It is a pleasant day.
Aye, sir. I hope thee is in good spirits today.
The best I've been in since coming, sister. Is there not a vacuum pan you're using on the fire?
It is, sir. How did you know?
I'm an inventor of sorts. Sometimes happily, sometimes not.
Someday I pray thee will invent something which will bring thee good fortune.
You know, I am seriously considering working on a brand new idea here.
On a new way to preserve fruit? Thou art staring so at my vacuum pan.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I'm wondering if I could use that type of vacuum pan to condense milk.
Condensed milk? I do not understand.
Sister, when I returned from Europe recently, several small babies died aboard ship because they could not get fresh milk. I would very much like to discover a way to keep milk fresh for everyone on long voyages, for all those in the cities who can't obtain fresh milk day by day.
It would be a great blessing, sir.
Sister, tell me, do you think I could obtain permission to use one of those pans for my experiments? It is the first thing which has given me hope in the while I've been considering this problem.
He received the permission he requested, and within a few months, this vacuum pan, which permitted liquids to boil at low temperature, gave him high hopes in the experiments for condensing milk. He ordered a specially designed pan for himself, and soon he was able to apply to the United States Patent Office for a patent on his method. This was in 1853.
We do not find sufficient novelty in the applicant's method. Other inventors have used a vacuum pan to condense milk.
His attorney claimed that such previous claims were theoretical, and again he made a claim for a patent. This time,
The applicant has failed to prove that condensing milk in vacuo contributes anything to previous modes of condensation.
undiscouraged, the inventor continued his work, and a third time his application was rejected. But this time,
By Jove, you've had a hard time, Borden. But you say there is some hope this time?
Yes, Mr. McFarland. That's why I've sent for you. I need your help.
Well, sir, anything that I can do, anything my magazine, The Scientific American, can do, we'll do. You know, I'm a booster of your condensed milk. I've used it myself.
I think the patent commissioners have given me an opening.
Oh?
At the end of their last rejection, they added about me, if he can prove that milk taken fresh from the cow and evaporated in the open air would not answer substantially the same purpose as when evaporated in vacuo, I would certainly grant him the patent he is asking.
Phew, that's a steep order he's given us. You realize what he's asking?
I do. We must study every known method of condensing milk and use those methods. We must prove that my method is different and better.
Well, we're going to get writer's cramp just recording our results.
Friend McFarland, it cheers me greatly to hear you say, we. Fortunately, you and I are not alone, sir.
Oh?
Dr. John Curie is going to help us.
Curie? Well, a splendid man. One of New York's best chemists. Well, when do we begin? At once?
Curie, McFarland, and Borden not only studied every known method of condensing milk, they actually condensed milk by each method and tabulated the results. They drew charts, they prepared affidavits. And as they progressed, the data shaped up toward one point, that condensing milk in vacuo was unequaled. In condensing milk, it must not be allowed to contact air. This time, when he faced the Patent Commission, he was soon able to send the telegram with which we began his story today. It was a great day for the dairy industry of the world, a great day for humanity. Now the baby, the weary traveler, could have his safe milk no matter where he was, no matter how far removed from farm and herd. It was a heartwarming gift to the millions who would travel westward, settling this nation. Now, today's guest of Better Living Radio Theater, Mr. Theodore G. Montague, president of the Borden Company.
I am happy to take part in this nationwide tribute to the role played by electric power and related industries in creating an even better America. We in the dairy industry fully appreciate the value of electricity. We know that without this great source of power, we could not assure foods of present high quality or produce them at their present low cost. Electricity, along with other modern tools, has, of course, revolutionized the lives of dairymen. But these modern miracles have done more than this. They have helped the whole dairy industry achieve its goals. They have also aided the research and enterprise through which we hope to improve even further the quality of our foods and service to our customers. Electric power and good, wholesome dairy products serving millions of Americans can be counted upon to continue improving our standards of living. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montague, for joining us in this salute to better living. You have been listening to Mr. Theodore G. Montague, president of the Borden Company. Your Better Living Radio Theater has brought you Milk for Millions, the fourth in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when Better Living will present another program in this series. The Electric Company's Public Information Program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower costs to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times. Electricity is at work to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now our Better Living Radio Theater brings you The Floating City, the dramatic story of great ships like the United States, which reflect the struggles of our electrical pioneers and mirror our electrical civilization of today. This is the fifth in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later, you will hear from today's guest, Mr. Newbold Lawrence, Vice President of Operations of the United States Lines. And now, your Better Living Radio Theater presents today's story, The Floating City. Aboard the SS United States at sea, Monday, July 7th, 1952. The liner United States streaked past Bishop's Rock at 5:16 a.m. Greenwich Meridian time early today, setting a new record for the transatlantic crossing. The time for the new American Queen of the Seas for the 2,938-mile crossing was 3 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes. An average speed of 35.59 knots, or about 41 land miles per hour. She's the Queen of the Seas, an American ship built with materials from 48 states. Her parts constructed in more than 800 plants and factories from coast to coast. She is larger than a great skyscraper, and she handles with a wheel no larger than the size of your automobile steering wheel. She represents the work of tens of thousands of American workmen in every state, plus the unseen miracles of electric power. Ours is an electrical civilization, reflected in our great ships, as other civilizations have been reflected in the ships of the time. The Egyptians and Phoenicians, the Greeks and the Romans had cultures in which slavery abounded. Their ships were propelled by slaves, chained to long oars, with occasional help from sails. The Vikings, and later the English, Spanish, Italians, and eventually the Americans were men of sail. As time and man's intelligence progressed, building larger, faster ships for war, for cargo, for passenger service. Then, as the machine age began to dawn on land, the seamen found the old ways passing. In 1838, aboard a whaler bound for Nantucket, the lookout calls,
"Smoke on the horizon! Smoke on the horizon! Where away? 3 degrees starboard. Looks like a ship afire." "Aye. I sight the smoke now. Mate, put on all sails. She'll need help from us." "Ahoy there! Ahoy! What ship are ye?"
"Sirius, 17 days out of Queensland."
"Do you need help?"
"Not now.
"Aren't you afire?"
We're under steam, trying to make New York.
"What happened to your spars?"
We're burning them for fuel. Ran out of coal this morning."
"Under steam, and he's burning his ship to get her to port. We thought you were afire and in distress."
"Should have used help a few days ago. Had a mutiny aboard. But all's peaceful now."
The bewilderment of sailing men at steam power had begun back in 1703, when German riverboatmen smashed Denis Papin's small vessel propelled by steam. Robert Fulton, the American pioneer, often found the paddles of his Claremont smashed by angry sailors as the successful paddle wheeler plied between New York and Albany. But steam could not be denied. Steam had begun its rule of the sea, and as steam engines improved in design, as the screw propellers came into use, only the clippers offered a brief challenge. But by the 1880s, steam was ruler. Our ship's logs tell us that the Servia was the first ship with electric lights, and soon it became common on other great passenger ships of their day. But the impetus for the greater, More widespread use of electricity on shipboard arrived in 1897, when Charles Parsons proved the value of the steam turbine in his ship, the Turbinia. The turbine was far more economical and efficient than the older steam engine. The electric companies began to use turbines throughout America to meet the increasing demand for lighting and electric power for farm and factory, home and transportation. And men began to dream of the all-electric ship. In 1909, aboard a Navy destroyer in New York Harbor,
Good evening, sir. Can I give you a hand up?
No, thank you. I think I can make it. Ah, here we are. My name's Fassett.
I've been expecting you aboard, Mr. Fassett. I'm Cummins, the chief electrician of the ship.
Oh, well, shake hands.
Chief engineer and I have orders to give you the run of the engine room, Mr. Fassett.
I don't care about orders. I want your permission. You're the man whose help I'll need.
Mine, sir? In what way?
Don't ask how I arranged it. But I want to study a ship like this to find out whether we could put a turbine generator aboard to drive her.
To drive the ship?
That's right. The turbine runs the generators. The generators run motors, and the motors run the propellers.
Run her by electricity instead of steam?
You Navy men are all alike. Steam is the be-all and end-all.
Have you ever been in a storm at sea?
No, but maybe we'll get into one before we're through. As soon as I've stowed this gear, I'll come below, and I'll look you up.
Well, Mr. Fassett, 3 weeks at sea, and what do you think now? Can you run a ship this size with a turbine-driven dynamo?
I haven't changed my mind at all, Mr. Cummins. I'm sure we could run a battleship with turbines and dynamos.
And now we're back in port. What'll you be doing?
Talk to the admirals in Washington.
I do not think it right to call us unfair, Mr. Fassett. We know everything that steam can do. Your turbine electric drive is untested.
But you could at least give us a test, Commodore.
We can't run the risk.
I've just come off one of your Navy ships. I saw her turrets turned in firing practice by electricity. I saw many other major operations performed by electricity. And not once, Commodore Burlingame, did I note a failure.
You're a persistent man, Mr. Fassett. Very, very persistent.
It's easy to be persistent when one is asking for fair play, Commodore. Now, you've already installed a marine engine on the Cyclops. The Neptune has been built with a geared turbine to drive her. All I ask that you give us a chance to install a turbine generator on the Jupiter. One single small collier among all the Navy ships.
And if I say no?
I'll be back again and again and again. I've waited 2 months for this interview with you.
Very well, Mr. Fassett. I'll show you that the Navy believes in fair play. You'll be given permission to put your turbine generator on the Jupiter. She's going to be built at Mare Island in San Francisco.
Do you know Commander Kern for the Jupiter personally, Commodore?
Yes, Admiral. He's sailed under my command at least twice. Always a very steady, reliable man.
But this enthusiasm, does he grow enthusiastic about everything?
No, sir. Maybe there is something to this turbine generator matter, Admiral. If Kernf likes it, maybe there is.
Burlingame, I want you to order Kern off the Jupiter at once.
You're removing him from his command?
No, I'm transferring him to another ship. I'll let someone else command the Jupiter and see what he has to say. In fact, we'll change all the officers on the Jupiter.
Another set of officers took command of this test ship, and their reports were even more complimentary. The electric industry had won a great victory, for within a short time, turbine generators and electric motors were installed on a great battleship of the United States Navy, the New Mexico. Today, in the world's great ships, turbines and dynamos share the burdens of power for propulsion and operation. In the Navy, in early June 1942, large enemy attack force sighted southwest Midway Island. So far, the Japanese Navy has allowed itself to be pressed into the service of the Japanese Army. Our small naval forces, still crippled by Pearl Harbor, have turned them aside at Coral Sea. But now the attack is on, because next morning, main enemy attack force sighted northeast Midway. 5 carriers, 4 battleships, 9 cruisers, 34 destroyers, plus transports and supply ships. This is it. The Japanese Navy is out to win control of the northern and central Pacific, perhaps even the eastern Pacific, with the possibility of attacks on Hawaii and Alaska. The electric magic in plane and ship radio has warned of the danger. Hurriedly, almost our Navy's whole remaining force in the Pacific is summoned to Pearl Harbor. Even the damaged carrier Yorktown is recalled from the Coral Sea and pressed into service. And now, not a turbine must falter. Not a one of our thousands of electrical devices aboard each of our ships must fail. For failure to stop the enemy can lay our western defenses wide open. You know the end of the story. The great Japanese threat was turned aside. The first decisive defeat the Japanese Navy had suffered in 350 years. The battle ended the Japanese enemy activity on the Pacific offensive. And in time, as our Navy rebuilt and added to its strength, the offensive was ours. Today, while our Navy remains strong, we talk of our peacetime floating cities like the United States. The United States is steered, lighted, air-conditioned, kept in communication with land and other ships by electricity. Without this great modern miracle, available all over the nation, we'd never have been able to build her as she is today, the Queen of the Seas, for better living. And now, today's guest in our Better Living Radio Theater, Mr. Newbold Lawrence, Vice President of Operations of the United States Lines.
What you have just heard is true. Without electric power, our nation would not be the proud possessor of the fastest ship in the world, the most modern passenger liner, at the same time the greatest single naval auxiliary, the SS United States. Electric power aboard this ship makes for better living whether there are passengers or troops aboard. Unlike a hotel, the superliner United States cannot obtain electric power from a station miles away. It must generate its own power and must maintain a service so reliable and flexible that there can be no failure, since no modern ship can operate without sufficient electric power. In other words, electric power aboard a ship must be as dependable and as efficient as that being supplied to Americans ashore day and night by the electric power companies of America. I know of no single factor that has contributed more towards making our country the greatest in the world than electric power.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. You have been listening to Mr. Newbold Lawrence, Vice President of Operations of the United States Lines. The Better Living Radio Theater has brought you The Floating City, the 5th in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when your Better Living Radio Theater will present another program in this series. Till then, wishing you better living. The Electric Company's Public Information Program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower cost to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times, electricity is at work to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now we bring you A Half Hour to Death, a dramatic story of a nationwide search by telephone for the antidote to a household poison. This is the sixth in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later, you will hear from today's guest, Mr. E.M. Blakesley, President of the United States Independent Telephone Association. And now, your Better Living Radio Theater presents today's story, A Half Hour to Death.
Operator.
Operator, this is an emergency. I'm trying to find Dr. Ralph Collins, but no one answers at his home or his office. Can you find him? It's my little girl.
How many times a day do telephone conversations start like this throughout the United States? From farm, home, and city apartment alike. Of course, there are times when parents, being what they are, the trouble is not as severe as they first imagined. But in our story today, a child's life does hang in the balance. And we present it to show you in how many different ways the telephone services are available. Today, the telephone reaches almost every corner of America. It carries the news of the Ladies' Aid meeting and the exchange of ideas between leaders in business and in government. It has become so much a part of the home that children use it as freely as adults, never stopping to think of the way in which it works, of the never-ending source of electricity behind it. Electrical power lights homes, office, farms, and factories. And through today's communications systems, it illuminates men's thoughts. This in the short space of little more than 70 years. Some of you can remember those days before the telephone.
The doctor has to be at the Hobart's farm. If he's not there, I don't know which farm to go to next. I've already covered most of them around here. But I know little Josie can't wait much longer.
In a few years, such rides, such worries were unnecessary. Early in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell took out his first patents on the telephone. Bell and his colleague, Thomas Watson, fashioned an electric machine which carried one human voice to another, first in only one direction, then in both directions. By 1900, there were almost 1 million telephones in use. Long-distance lines reached out to Chicago and Omaha. Bell's original patents were licensed to other companies besides his own. And this allowed the rise of local telephone exchanges, which burgeoned with the years until in 1952, for example, there were more than 48 million telephones in use, an average of over 180 million completed conversations each day. And to almost every one of us who uses the telephone, new wonders of communication to remote points. Have you experienced what it is like to have a whole telephone network at your fingertips? I sincerely hope your experience won't be like that of George and Peggy Parks, but just in case it should be.
You're home early, George.
Yeah, traffic wasn't so bad this afternoon. Have a good day.
Well, the baby cried a lot, but he's sleeping now.
Where's Kathy?
She's playing in the backyard.
I've got something for her, a special present.
Will you go on inside and change to comfortable clothes, and I'll call her. She certainly is your child.
Yours, too.
Well, of course. But the way she goes around fixing things. When she grows up, her husband's going to have a handyman worth her weight in tools. She's been pretending to fix her wagon all day.
Oh, not with my good tools.
No, certainly not. She uses that old wood mallet you gave her to play with. She goes in and out of the garage pretending it's a new tool each time. I'll go find her. It's time for supper anyway. George! George!
Be down in a moment, Peg.
George, come right away. It's Kathy.
Something wrong?
I found her lying on the garage floor, terribly sick. I think she's taking something she shouldn't. There's a small bottle on your workbench lying beside her.
Operator.
Operator, this is an emergency. I'm trying to find Dr. Ralph Collins, but no one answers at his home or his office. Can you find him? It's my little girl.
Have you tried him at the hospital, sir?
Yes, he's not there.
Do you know whether he has a telephone in his car?
In his car? I don't know.
One moment, please.
Please hurry.
Mobile service. This is an emergency call. Please call Dr. Ralph Collins. Yes, I'll wait.
What's happening? Who's she ringing, operator?
Mobile service is trying to contact Dr. Collins in his car, sir.
Can't you get him?
Dr. Collins cannot be reached at the moment. He will call as soon as he returns to his car.
Dr. Collins will call back? How does she know he'll call back? It's another wonder of mobile service, that rapidly growing part of modern telephone communication which extends service to trains, trucks, and private automobiles like Dr. Collins's. A small high-frequency radio receiver and transmitter have been set up in the rear luggage compartment. The call from mobile service goes by telephone wire to a low-powered radio transmitter in the vicinity, and from there, the signal has gone out to Dr. Collins's car. Dr. Collins arranged for the installation a year ago when another older doctor retired and moved away, leaving him as the only doctor in a large summer resort community. When George's call came through to his car, the car was parked outside a house 10 miles away where Dr. Collins was working on another emergency case. But now here he comes, and as soon as he steps into his car, he notices a red light glowing by his telephone handset. Though the bell stopped minutes ago, this light tells Dr. Collins a call has come in for him.
Mobile service. This is JZ 39907. You have a call for me?
Operator. Thank you, mobile service. One moment, please.
Hello? Mrs. Park speaking.
Mrs. Parks? Dr. Collins, you call me?
Oh, doctor, yes. Yes, George called you. It's Kathy.
What about her, Mrs. Parks?
She was playing in the garage, and we think she drank some soldering acid George had on his workbench. She's terribly ill. George just brought her into the house.
How long ago do you think she drank it?
It may have been 15 minutes, perhaps an hour ago. I'm sure I saw her playing about an hour ago.
Do you have the bottle with you now?
Yes?
Well, we must have an antidote for her. What's printed on the label?
The label's gone.
Well, then call the place where you bought it and get the formula so I can get an antidote right away. I'm in Monroe Township now. I'll drive right over.
What'd he say, Peg?
He's coming right over, but he needs the formula for the acid. George, call the place where you got it. Do you know where?
Sure, Johnson's Hardware.
Operator.
Operator, can you give me Johnson's Hardware store? This is an emergency.
I'll dial them for you, sir.
Johnson Hardware. This is George Parks. I bought some soldering acid last week, and my little girl drank some of it. I need the formula on the label so our doctor can get an antidote.
Just a minute, Mr. Parks. Somebody came in earlier today and asked for that acid. We're clean out.
You're sure?
Positive. Looked all over the store, even after you'd gone.
Well, where do you get the stuff? What company?
Golly, Mr. Parks, the boss is gone, and I don't know who we buy the acid from. He might know, though.
Where is Mr. Johnson?
He went out on somebody's fishing schooner, middle of the afternoon. I think it's the Mermaid.
Mermaid? Thanks.
Operator.
This is Parks again. I've got to reach Mr. Johnson of Johnson's Hardware. He's on board the schooner Mermaid. Can the Coast Guard get him? It's urgent, very urgent, you know.
I'll try to get Mr. Johnson for you.
Another facet of today's wonders of electricity and the telephone, ship-to-shore service. But when George Parks talked to Mr. Johnson aboard the Mermaid, he found the hardware store owner didn't know the formula either. But he did know the name of the company that made the acid. In this race against death, George called the company offices, even though it was undoubtedly past closing hours. Only the watchman was on hand. He tried to get the company president at a hotel 300 miles away where he had a business meeting, but the company president wasn't there either. But George did learn that he was flying back from the meeting. The president told George that the only man who could give him the formula was the company's chemist. So the search started all over again.
No one answers, operator. Try that other number.
All right, Mr. Parks, I will.
And she did try that other number, and another, and still another, where finally she found the company chemist was aboard a cracked train speeding across the country 1,000 miles away.
Yes, that's the formula, Doctor. Yes, that should make an effective antidote. Did you reach me in time? Oh, I'm glad, very glad. She ought to be out of danger in no time, huh? Oh, that's fine. And say, I want to meet that young lady sometime. She's the first one who ever drank any of my formula.
In less than a half hour, the Parks had traveled thousands of miles thanks to the telephone and the magic of electric power, which supplies the current for these modern wonders. Wherever the telephone goes, there, too, goes electricity. We hope that you and your family will face no such emergency as the Parks. But day and night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in all kinds of weather, the telephone and electric power, which you take for granted so readily, are there at your command. And now, here is our guest of the Better Living Radio Theater for today, Mr. E.M. Blakesley, President of the United States Independent Telephone Association.
Electric power and the telephone industry continue to play a big part in bringing this nation better living and making it strong. Today, the telephone is taken for granted, and yet it continues to save seconds, minutes, and hours daily. In doing so, it helps get things done quickly and more efficiently. Think of it, an average of 181 million calls made a day. Without the telephone, our business and social life would go backwards and slow down to a horse and buggy pace. Yet this industry's research and development goes forward, and each day brings newer and better things. What of the future? Like electric power, with its expansion and daily use, so too is this industry serving our citizens and helping to provide better living to all Americans daily.
Thank you, Mr. Blakesley. You've been listening to Mr. E.M. Blakesley, President of the United States Independent Telephone Association. The Better Living Radio Theater has brought you A Half Hour to Death, the sixth in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when the Better Living Radio Theater will present another program in this series. Until then, wishing you better living. The Electric Company's Public Information Program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower cost to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times. Electricity is at work to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now your Better Living Radio Theater brings you Wings Over the World, the dynamic story of America's sudden plunge into mass production of airplanes for World War II. A call to the men of our aviation industry faced with no experience, with only a fine set of dreams and courage. This is the seventh in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later, we will hear from today's guest, Mr. Donald W. Douglas, president of the Douglas Aircraft Corporation. And now the story, Wings Over the World. Washington, D.C., June 1938. At a special meeting of the nation's airplane manufacturers today, General H. Arnold said, "I cannot offer you money, I cannot offer you contracts, but I am asking you to prepare for an unprecedented war, a war for which our possible enemies have been preparing for years, a war in which they have left nothing undone to build the best planes they can in great numbers." Remember 1938, following General Arnold's request for planes, the president asked for 5,500 planes for defense. The answer was money for 59. How by 1943 did the United States aircraft industry find itself able to build 48,000 craft in a single year? To begin this dramatic story of American industry, let's go back to 1910 when one of our pioneers of aviation was a young midshipman at the United States Naval Academy. He's facing his commanding officer.
Of all the men standing around, you had to let your confounded model airplane sail into an admiral.
I didn't choose him deliberately, sir.
This is not a humorous matter.
I beg your pardon, sir.
An admiral.
I hope, sir, you'll accept my resignation from the Naval Academy.
Huh? What's that? Your resignation?
It would be easier for you, sir, than having to dismiss me.
What's that? Yes, I believe you're right. I've done my best to encourage you in your interest in aviation. But flying a model plane into an admiral in the civilian world, sir, pick your targets with better judgment.
It was the great developments of the 19th century which had given man his wings, the development of the gasoline engine to power the heavier-than-air craft which the Wrights and others had used. It was also the development of electricity and the electric motor, which were to be the future brains of the big planes, and which also were to power the marvelous machine tools making mass production possible. But even in the years after 1910, when the automobile industry was turning to the electric motor and electrical power for its fabulous mass production methods, the airplane remained, in popular thinking, an expensive toy for the other fellow to fool around with. Even after the First World War, in which Americans had to fly foreign-built machines because we had no aviation industry, the enthusiasm of 200,000 of our finest young men, trained as flyers, could not rouse the nation to an interest in civilian flying. By now, in the early 20s, Tom had moved to Los Angeles.
Come in.
Hello there. You know where the barbers are? They're not out here in the shop.
Oh, one of them's sick today. The other went down the street for some coffee. He ought to be back in 5-10 minutes.
Thanks.
What's trouble? No magazines out there to read?
I'm a writer. I hate reading.
Oh? What kind of writer?
Sports. My name's Williams.
Bill Williams?
Right.
Oh, I've read your stories. They're about the only thing I do read when I'm not drafting.
What are those plans on your board?
An airplane. I've got $120,000 and the start of a whole new industry for Los Angeles lying here on these tables, and I can't even get off the runway.
That's a lot of money. What are you?
Flyer, designer, graduate of MIT, ex-vice president, and vegetable grower.
Vegetable grower?
I came out here to California because roofing's cheaper out here. I planted vegetables so my family won't starve. Sounds like your barber's back.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, it's been interesting talking to you. Good luck.
Thanks. Come in again if I'm still around.
I'll do that.
Hey, back again?
What did you say about a new industry for Los Angeles?
Oh, I said I had it here on this table. I have a $120,000 order from the Navy to build 3 torpedo planes. If I could get the money, I could build them, and plenty more.
Ever built any?
Oh, I was the Army's chief designer for a while during the war. I was vice president of a large company now making planes. I wanted to go on my own.
How much money you got?
Not a dime. Remember the vegetables?
Well, have you tried the banks? An order from the Navy?
I've tried every bank in the city. The war is over. Who's interested in backing torpedo planes?
What's the least, the very least you could start with?
15,000.
I don't think I could get you that much, but I can get some of it.
How much?
Now, don't rush me. I don't know how much. But my publisher is the biggest booster Los Angeles has. If it means a new industry for this city, he might help you out. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me get a haircut so as I can face him, and I'll take you down and introduce you.
You'll find it a matter of record. This is how one of America's great aviation companies started, in the back of a barber shop. Another began because a wealthy sportsman cracked up his plane, became angry, and decided he could build a better one. A third was founded by a man who, as a youngster, had been fired by an article in the American Boy magazine. But even when, in 1926, this same boy, now a man, sold one of his planes to a young male pilot named Lindbergh, who flew it to fame and caught the popular imagination, the orders for planes still fell short of a point where they could go into mass production, the staff of life to any successful business. In some plants, Tom's for example, things like this happened in the middle 1930s as Nazi Germany and Japan prepared for conquest. With a few days of shore leave, Tom's old friend of Naval Academy days, Dave Belknap, has come for a visit to Tom's West Coast plane factory.
Well, Dave, what do you think of her?
Your newest model, huh?
Just started turning them out.
It's quite a wing spread.
2 feet 8 inches, tip to tip. Take a look at that landing gear.
Hey, what type do you call it?
Rocker type, adapted from an old model.
Single passenger, of course.
Yeah. One of our test men tried it with 2 children on his lap.
Could he do it and keep his license?
The inspectors made him do it. Declared it one of the safest rocking chairs they'd ever seen. Got an order for 5,000.
I don't know how you stick it, Tom. All these years of work and worry for rocking chairs.
No, it's not so bad, Dave. Another of the boys hasn't had one single order for 4 months, but he's keeping his entire force on the payroll, tending the lawns and gardens. You'll see, they'll want us someday.
I cannot offer you money, I cannot offer you contracts, but I'm asking you to prepare for an unprecedented war. A war for which our possible enemies have been preparing for years. A war in which they have left nothing undone to build the best planes they can in great numbers. Yes, that was General Arnold's call to the leaders of our aviation industry in 1938. As you know, the answer was appropriations for 59 planes. But soon the orders from the free nations at war, France and England, revved up our production of planes. We thought we were doing well until Pearl Harbor. The shocking news that in the vast Pacific, we had 176 planes. Now the services needed planes, planes, and more planes. All eyes were on our aviation industry. Again, Tom's friend Dave, now a high-ranking officer in the Navy, was at his side.
Can't Detroit help you, Tom? They've been doing mass production on autos for 30 years.
Detroit's bursting with war orders already. They're short of engineers and workers.
I know.
Nobody's ever had to produce the tremendous quantities of planes we have to. Planes aren't autos. They're far more complicated.
Got to think of a way out. We're fighting a war on 2 fronts.
It's going to be a battle of manpower and machine tools, and some of my best men are in service now. We'll need women, thousands of them, or we're sunk, Dave. I've already got the call out.
What about the children? Who's going to stay with the children?
We're going to set up day nurseries.
Well, that may work. You can't rivet bombers in the kitchen at home.
Unless it's one of those homey kitchens you see in the movies, but...
But what?
Hey, there is work women can do at home. Dave, suppose they can't get out of the house. The child's too young or the woman's crippled, something like that. You know what they can do? They can sort.
Sort? Sort what?
Nuts and bolts. I've got men doing that job now, women too. Suppose women at home did this sorting job. We bring them a batch of nuts and bolts, they sort them, we pick them up. There are a lot of other things, little jobs, but necessary jobs people can do at home.
You think it'd work?
It has to. I'm going to talk to the boys about this. It's things like this that may save us.
Do you know, actually, how the United States built 48,000 planes in the first year of the war? On ideas like that. With women and handicapped people working at home, with day nurseries, with 1,001 new ways of attacking mass production. But sheer manpower and woman power weren't enough to build those planes for the free nations. So they turned to man's silent partner, the electric motor. For years, the electric power industry had quietly built its power plants, had extended its lines in intricate networks around cities, into suburban communities, out to the farms. Now, with the power on hand, machine tools, the heart of mass production, could be designed to do many jobs at once. Be designed to turn the unskilled and semi-skilled into the equals of trained, experienced workers.
Look, Dave, that's a porcupine. It punches 360 holes in a bomber catwalk in one operation. We used to use a single drill 360 times for the same job. And this is our new electric riveter, counterbalanced so a woman can run it for hours.
You walked away from those great plane factories knowing that our manpower, strained to its limits, had found 1 million extra helpers in the electric motors of the new machines and machine tools designed to meet emergencies as they rose, sometimes overnight.
Those were great years, Dave.
Holy smoke, Tom, you don't want them back.
No, of course not. We'll build for defense, but what we're proud of is that this time people have continued to fly. It's not like the early 1920s. Our planes take people on vacations to Rio and Paris, to Hawaii and Florida. Our businessmen fly to India and Peoria, to Boston and Mexico City. Christmas time and summertime find Mother and Dad and the kids flying to be with the older folks back home. I wish the world were all at peace, Dave. I'd like to take some time off and go on a vacation, too. To
the moon? Saturn?
Huh. Who knows? But I'm keeping a bag packed.
Now, Better Living Radio Theater brings you our special guest for today, Mr. Donald W. Douglas, President of the Douglas Aircraft Corporation. Mr. Douglas.
Our rolling plains, green forests, winding rivers, and rich mines have provided the people of this nation a truly rich material heritage. But it took faith, will, and ingenuity to develop these magnificent assets into the fabulous America of today. Abundant electric power and light for the home, farm, and industry have been an effective instrument in converting these great natural resources into that better living for more people, which has been the goal of American free enterprise from the beginning.
Thank you, Mr. Douglas. You have been listening to Mr. Donald W. Douglas, President of the Douglas Aircraft Corporation. Mr. Douglas was today's guest of the Better Living Radio Theater, which has brought you Wings Over the World, the 7th in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, inviting you to be with us again next week at the same time when your Better Living Radio Theater will present another in this series of programs. Until then, wishing you better living. The Electric Company's Public Information Program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower cost to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times, the electric industry strives day and night to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. And now your Better Living Radio Theater brings you The Magic Broomstick. This is the 8th in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later, you will hear from today's guest, Mr. William W. White, president of the New York Central System. And now, our drama titled The Magic Broomstick. To Mr. Oliver Wendell Holmes, informed you have written a poem entitled, quote, The Broomstick Train, or The Return of the Witches, unquote, stop. We're printing a Sunday article on electric streetcars and would like to include your poem with your permission. Stop. Please reply by telegraph. Stop. The New York Star. It was 1889 when Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote his rollicking verses about the broomstick train, likening the curious pole atop every electric streetcar to a witch's broomstick, put to the use of the people. That the famous poet sought to praise, even in humor, the coming of electricity to the railroads was a stroke of good fortune. For in those days, the iron horse was king, and experiments with electricity and railroading were frowned on in many quarters.
You know, Mother, that's a very funny poem Mr. Holmes wrote about the electric cars.
Don't let your father hear you reading it.
What is the boy reading that he shouldn't, Mary?
Did you have a good night's sleep, Father?
A splendid rest, thank you, boy. My eyes are ready to see around any curve in the track. And whatever it is, you're reading in yesterday's newspaper.
Oh, it's nothing.
Oh! You're wasting your time over that idiotic poem.
Now, Father, just because you've lived with steam engines, grew up with them, you think
Anyone who rides in an electric conveyance is courting sure death.
Peter Hatton.
Would you like riding on a car filled with electric sparks?
Well, it's no worse than riding into New York City every day with your cab filled with smoke and soot and steam whenever you go through that tunnel.
Pulling 8 cars behind me, I am. Oh, show me an electric engine that can pull its own weight without breaking down. Oh, there's the 614. I'd better be eating my breakfast.
Wouldn't you like to stay here and do my Monday washing? Trying to keep it clean with the soot and ashes from your precious engines?
Oh, no, Mother, that's not Dad's fault.
It's like a gun at my head, your mother's washing. I'm afraid we'll have to move to keep the peace. And eat your breakfast, boy, and not another word. Electric cars are fit only for poetry writers, like Mr. Holmes.
Thomas Edison, Charles Vanderpoel, Frank Sprague, and other pioneers of electricity soon became active in the field of railroading. The electric motor was still very primitive. So, too, were the sources of power. The running of live electric wires over or in channels along a street alarmed the average citizen. 5 years later, in 1894, our friends the Hattons have moved away from their apartment near the railroad yards. Mrs. Hatton has no worries about her washing now, but there's something new for her to think about.
Hello, Mother. Did you have a good day? What time is it?
It's 11:30.
Why are you up so late? Has something happened to Father?
He's in there, in the bedroom, poor dear.
His cough again?
It's getting worse day by day.
Well, as long as he keeps that tunnel run with the smoke and the gases flooding his engine cab.
They shouldn't build tunnels.
Mother, they have to when they can. Railroads are a necessity now.
The doctor says your father won't live long unless he stops working.
The doctor? Oh, I didn't know he'd been to see the doctor. Well, I've got a solution for that.
What can you do?
I'll give up going to college. I'll go to work.
You can't. Your father won't let you.
I'm 19. It's time I went to work anyway.
Now, your father's so proud you're going to college.
Well, I'll study nights. He probably wouldn't approve of what I was going to study in college anyway. Mathematics, physics, electricity. Maybe I'll go down to Baltimore and study electric engines at first hand.
You say you grew up on a railroad, eh?
Yes, sir. My father was an engineer.
Dead, eh?
Oh, no, sir. Retired, ill health.
He worked for the B&O?
No, sir. New York Central.
Why are you looking for work with us?
I've got a very good reason for being interested in electric locomotives.
Roll up your sleeves. We're going to put you to work with the line crew.
A new day had come for the electric railway. Suddenly it had jumped from the street railway systems to consideration by the great cross-country lines. In 1892, the B&O was faced with a problem that steam locomotives seemed only to aggravate. In Baltimore, a tunnel was built more than a mile long. It cut considerable time between Washington and New York, but the smoke and gas in the tunnel were unendurable. So the officials turned to the young electric industry, asking for electric locomotives far beyond any yet built in power and size. In the middle of August 1895, Mr. and Mrs. Hatton received a letter from George down in Baltimore.
Not a sputter, not a spark, not a slip of the wheel has turned up in this first week. And I'll vouch for the fact that none will appear within the year. It was a tremendous showing for the electric locomotive. Why, the boy is dreaming. Imagine one of those witchcraft thingamajogs pulling an honest engine.
Oh, now be careful, Peter. You're getting red in the face.
It was my lungs, not my heart, that almost gave out. I've got a right to get red. I'm going down to Baltimore and make George show me an electric thingamajog,
I think you called it.
Whatever it is, he's got to show me it put on a steam engine.
I hope I like Baltimore. I've heard they're very nice girls in Baltimore. George should meet one of them.
Well, what do you think of her now, Mr. Haddon? Still think young George is bewitched when he writes to you?
It's hard to believe, Mr. Bailey. It's so different. I can't get used to it.
Cleaner.
Oh, yes, I have to admit that.
Economical, too, and easier to control.
Oh, yes. I noticed you eased her out of the Camden station just now.
That's just the way we do it. Just ease her into full speed.
Well, suppose you applied full speed right away.
Well, I've never tried it that I know of.
Ha-ha!
What do you mean, ha-ha?
I was telling George the same thing last night. Your electric engines are cleaner, yes, and maybe they're economical, too. But they haven't the drawbar pull equal to a steam engine.
You mean this hasn't the power right at the start of a run a steamer has?
You're an engineer, as I am. You know what I mean by drawbar pull. Suppose you opened her up full throttle to start with.
The loaded freight behind us?
I've done it with a steamer.
Well, by golly, I'll show you. What happened? Tell me what's happened.
You've pulled the whole end out of the boxcar full of oats. They're showering all over the track behind us.
No drawbar pull, huh? No drawbar pull. Wait till I tell George and Lucy.
Who's this Lucy?
Who's Lucy? My daughter and your daughter-in-law. Say, I'll have to get those oats cleaned up before somebody hollers, "Get a horse!"
The 1890s saw new miracles of electricity on every hand. In the large factories of New England, motors were beginning to turn the looms and lathes. In many an American city, architects and builders were dreaming of new towering shafts of offices, soon to be known as skyscrapers because of the electric elevator. The improvements in dynamos, the first tapping of America's vast water supplies, the development of the motor itself, and the beginnings of standardization in equipment due to mass production found electricity taking a firm grip on the American scene. And in Chicago...
It's going to be exciting out there, Father. This man, Frank Sprague, has done pretty well in the elevator business, especially with automatic controls. The Chicago elevated people have asked him to design a multiple unit system for them.
And what is that, boy?
Well, here's a pencil. Hand me that sheet of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it works like this. Each car on the L will have its own motor and controllers.
I see.
They're going to make your city of the future quiet, clean suburban trains. Faster schedules, fitting the number of cars to the number of passengers. Say, would you like to go out with Lucy and me?
Well, you're going to work with this Sprague?
As a line boss, I've been studying nights, and I can get you a job. That is, if you'll work on an electric railway.
Well, I would, well, why not? Your mother says it's time I went back to work and stopped knocking my cigar ashes over her clean clothes.
Electric service in Chicago began in December 1920. A few years later, 2 more trademarks of a great city were stamped on the face of New York. At a cost of $40 million, Grand Central Terminal rose in mid-Manhattan. a monument to railroad electrification. Then came another challenge to the electric locomotive.
We're moving to California.
Oh, not California, to Seattle.
Well, why Seattle?
The company's got a new assignment. The Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul line wants to try beating the Rockies with electric engines.
Oh, but George, you've never worked on anything like that.
Well, that's the fun of it. The line goes past St. Paul to the Continental Divide, crosses that, penetrates the Rockies, winds up through the Sierras, and then has to cross the Cascade Range before it stops short at the Pacific Ocean. We'll not only have to beat grades and mountains and gorges, we'll have to lick snows 20 and 30 feet deep in some parts. I wish Father and Mother were still alive.
Oh, of course, dear.
I remember how she used to get him out, shoveling snow so she could hang up her clothes on Monday morning. They'd set a pace for my cruise.
An inheritance from all the electrical pioneers was embodied in the motors that set out to conquer the Rockies. The 42 freight locomotives, each weighing 280 tons, were as large as the stoutest steam hauler on any road. And when they started their job conquering the Rockies, each pulled the trains weighing 2,600 tons with ease up the steepest grades. The last great barrier in the nation had fallen before the witchcraft engines. And now here is today's guest of our Better Living Radio Theater, Mr. William W. White, President of the New York Central System.
It's a pleasure to take part in this program marking America's high standard of living and productive genius. This is founded on a peculiar know-how, a genius for organization, a burning urge to do it better, do it faster, do it right. People who can remember when the average factory looked like an overgrown forest of cumbersome leather belts and pulleys do not have to be reminded how much human effort was saved when the transformer made it easy to transport and apply electric power where it was needed, when it became possible to build electric locomotives and put electricity on individual machines, on hoists and conveyors, on all sorts of hand tools to help lift the burden from workers. It played and still is playing an important part in the development of the railroad industry, which in turn has also contributed much to our high standard of living. It's a pleasure for me at this time, on behalf of the railroad industry, to help point up this theme of better living. Thank you, and now back to our program.
Thank you, Mr. White. You have been listening to Mr. William W. White, President of the New York Central System. Mr. White was today's guest of our Better Living Radio Theater. Today's drama, The Magic Broomstick, was the 8th in a series of broadcasts at this time presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is your narrator, Wendell Niles, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when your Better Living Radio Theater will present another program in this series. Until then, wishing you better living. The Electric Company's Public Information Program brings you your Better Living Radio Theater in its salute to the American home, its family, and its way of life in this bright American future. The tubes in your radio, the power behind this station which brings you this program, the nightlight at your child's bedside, the giant motors that drive the machines to mold our steel and power your production lines, the current that pops your family toaster, foods, aircraft, railroads, automobiles, and ships. Electricity always at hand, day or night, with its economy for lower cost to you, with rising efficiency through its own research, with its growth to match the nation's needs at all times, the electric industry strives day and night to bring you better living. This is your narrator, Wendell Niles. Now, your Better Living Radio Theater presents a story entitled Mrs. USA, which brings you an invitation to smile and to heave a big sigh of relief that you don't live in 1905. This is the ninth in a series of broadcasts at this time to show you how Americans in a free nation have worked to bring you better living today. In fact, the highest standard of living in the world. Later, you will hear from today's guest, Mr. Chester H. Lang, Director of Public Relations, the General Electric Company. And now, today's story, Mrs. USA. May 14th, 1905, Miss Jane Owen, 2020 Slocum Street, Mainville, Illinois. Boss raised me to $25 a week. Will arrive for supper tomorrow night to ask a question. But please do not let your mother go to any trouble. Signed, Henry. And now for our story. Each year we celebrate one day as Mother's Day. But to many an American mother, Mother's Day is every day when she remembers her own mother's home before the widespread use of electricity. No matter what the books tell you about the pies that Mother used to make, Mother had it tough. Let's go back with the sender of that telegram to 1905 and start Jane's mother off on her day.
Stephen. Stephen, wake up.
What?
It's turned cold, Stephen. You'll have to get up and shake the furnace hard this morning.
Oh, let me sleep.
Stephen?
Oh, hey, my blankets.
Now, don't you dare put them back. I'll go down and shake up the kitchen fire myself.
Of course, human beings haven't changed so much since 1905. Even in these days of clock radios, electric blankets, and self-starting devices for your oil, gas, or coal furnace, it is hard to get up. But I think you'll agree it might have been a little harder to face the day in 1905, especially if you were a mother entering her kitchen.
Mother, is breakfast ready?
Just put the coal on the stove, John.
I'm hungry.
Have you shaved yet?
Shave?
Well, you're not going to work unless you shave. You're 17 now and a man of business.
Where's the hot water?
Well, I'm just pumping the cold water. It'll take time to heat it. John, will you please carry this kettle to the stove?
Yeah. That's heavy.
I know. I carry it 17 or 18 times a day.
I don't need all this water for shaving just a few whiskers.
Your father needs it for his shaving. Your sister Jane needs it for washing, and you'll have to wash, too, because I need another scuttle of coal.
I just filled it when I came home from work yesterday.
Well, it's a cold morning, and I have a good deal of cooking to do today, besides some washing.
What are you going to cook? Something special?
Your sister's having a very important young man for a guest at supper tonight.
Who?
Henry Parkhurst.
You said important.
He is important to Jane. Uh-oh. Your father's shaking the furnace now. You better get the scuttle of coal.
The breakfasts of 1905 were sturdy ones. Our doctors of today still think better breakfast's a healthful diet. The mush has been on the back of the stove cooking all night. The griddle cakes take time to beat up by hand. The sausage sizzles slowly in the old iron skillet as the stove heats up. The coffee boils slowly. The bread and rolls are there, too. Mother already has been hard at work for an hour and a half by the time the breakfast table is to be cleared.
Mother, I'm so worried about tonight.
Oh, now, Jane, everything will be all right.
Are you going to bake one of your pies?
Yes, dear. I thought I'd make half a dozen. It'll save me making 2 for the baked goods sale for tomorrow and 2 for Aunt Elsie's Sunday dinner.
Mother, can we sit in the parlor after supper?
Of course. I'll ask your brother to light the stove when he comes home from work.
Be sure he doesn't leave any coal dust around.
Well, I'm going to sweep the whole house this morning and beat the parlor carpet.
What do you think I should wear?
Well, your organdy shirtwaist or your pongee. The lace insertions and the medallions are quite nice.
Mother, could you wash the pongee and iron it?
Well, I believe I'll have time, dear.
What's very important tonight is, Mother, will you come up while I'm dressing and be sure my switch is pinned on properly?
Yes, dear.
You're taking all this so lightly.
Not at all.
But I'm so old, Mother. 21. If he doesn't propose to me, I'll be an old maid.
Do you love him, Jane?
Oh, yes. Yes, I love him, Mother. Well, goodbye. I'll be late for work.
Goodbye, dear. Now, don't worry today.
I won't. Oh, and Mother, be sure the sheet music is off the organ in the parlor. The etiquette book says that sheet music on the organ shows that you don't know the songs and doesn't compliment the guests.
Now Mother begins her daily tasks alone. All the dishes washed and dried by hand, the hot water toted from the stove numerous times, then the beds to make, then back to the kitchen. As on many spring days, this one started cool and now it's warm. But the coal range is going full blast to heat the oven for baking. The kitchen is as hot as a steel mill as Mother hand beats the eggs and mixes dough for the pies. By the end of the noonday meal and its subsequent dishwashing, Mother has expended enough energy to equal a good 36 holes of golf today, and her afternoon, with its tending of the coal stove, its incidental ironing, more cleaning by a broom and carpet sweeper, and the start of the big meal for Jane Suter at 3:30 is equal to a fast 5 sets of tennis. By 6 o'clock,
Mother, I can't find my curling iron.
It's heating atop the mantel, dear.
Is my shirtwaist ready?
On the foot of your bed.
Oh, Mother, suppose he comes before I'm ready.
Well, John can entertain him with a banjo solo. Or he can look at the stereopticon.
But he's seen all the pictures we have for the stereopticon.
Well, if Henry's going to marry into the family, he may as well get used to seeing them over and over, dear. It'll be quite a few years before your father can afford to buy a graphophone. You better hurry up and get dressed.
Mother, do you hear something dripping?
Oh, I've been so busy all day, I forgot to empty the pan under the icebox. Well, that was lovely, Jane, dear. Just beautiful. Don't you think so, Henry?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Owen. Very beautiful. Will you play another, Jane? Do you have a cold, Mr. Owen?
Oh, it's not a cold, Henry. Father, wants to read aloud to us.
Oh, I should like that, Mr. Owen.
Have you heard Rudyard Kipling's Gunga Din?
I believe so, John. Your father read it the last time I was here for the evening.
Wouldn't you like to hear it again?
It's not very romantic.
Well, who cares about what's romantic? Oh, I see what you mean.
I rather thought I'd read from this book of poems here.
Oh, Father, please do.
Yes, Mr. Owen, please.
Mr. Owen was quite an elocutionist in high school, Henry.
Well, it begins. Like a foundling in slumber, the summer day lay on the crimsoning threshold of even. And I thought that the glow through the azure arched way was a glimpse of the coming of heaven. There together we sat by the beautiful stream. We had nothing to do but to love and to dream. In the days that have gone on. Oh, dumbfound it!
Your father, what's wrong?
This dad-blamed oil lamp is going out.
I forgot to fill it tonight.
Oh, John, how could you?
Now, my dears, I'll fetch another from the kitchen, and your father can continue.
Oh, Mother.
Yes, dear, just finishing the dishes.
Oh, but, Mother, it's 10 o'clock.
Well, Jane, did he propose?
Yes, Mother.
Oh. Did you accept him?
Well, of course, Mother. Oh, Mother, I'm so happy. He proposed even though the lights went out, even though John played 3 banjo solos, and even though I completely forgot my new switch and wore my second best.
Oh, he must love you for your own sake, dear. Oh, come here and let me kiss you.
I've never been so happy, Mother. He asked me that all-important question every man asks a woman.
Hester, can you heat a flat iron for my side of the bed? It's turned cold again and my feet are frozen.
Well, that's a fair sample of life in 1905. And I hope it makes my point that in view of those days without the blessings of electricity, every day is Mother's Day today. 44 million homes now have radios for news and home entertainment. 37 million homes have irons. 35 million have refrigerators. 32 million have clocks. And 30 million have washers, all run by electricity. In millions of American homes, the familiar wall or baseboard outlet runs toasters, vacuum cleaners, freezers, ranges, mixers, shavers, heating pads, and water heaters. The designers of these electrical marvels have given Mother a helping hand by eliminating the gingerbread designs, the notches and curves and waste spaces which in themselves took hours to clean each week. As for cost, in 1905, Mother and Father paid a great deal more than they do today. I'll tell you what, for a few moments more, let's transplant the Owen family into the future, say 25 years from now.
Mother, what do we have for dinner tonight?
A beefsteak, I hope. Henry likes beefsteak, doesn't he, Jane?
He likes it rare.
Oh, I like it medium.
I know.
Now, you won't have to worry, children. I'll have the steak in the stove. All you have to do is set the controls, just as it says on the package.
Mother, you won't be here?
No, dear, I'm going to Chicago for the afternoon, but I'll be back by 8. If Henry gets hungry, just press the buttons on the stove. You can't go wrong.
The Owens of 1905 couldn't have even conceived of the automatic electric coffee maker, washers, and ovens of today. Better living for all is forever uppermost in the plans of the entire electrical industry today. But you know, breakfast is still the same. And now for today's guest of our Better Living Radio Theater, Mr. Chester H. Lang, Director of Public Relations for the General Electric Company.
Today's homemaker, Mrs. USA, is fast assuming the role of home manager. She virtually must have the combined genius of a budget expert, production manager, purchasing agent, dietitian, and marketing expert. And to carry out all these jobs and still have time for the day-to-day requirements of her family, our American home manager obviously must have considerable help around the house. In large measure, she has this help available in her array of modern electrical appliances. In fact, the electricity Mrs. USA uses for such household chores as dishwashing, clothes washing, ironing, and cleaning does the job of 6 servants. At prevailing wages, 6 servants would come pretty high, way too expensive for our homemaker. Electric power costs far less than it did 20 years ago. So you can readily see that electrical living means better living and has raised our standards to a higher plane than ever known before. Moreover, all the progress we have seen in recent years is just a beginning in this bright American future. Thank you, Mr. Niles.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. You have been listening to Mr. Chester H. Lang, Director of Public Relations, General Electric Company. Mr. Lang was today's guest of our Better Living Radio Theater, which has brought you Mrs. USA, the 9th in a series of broadcasts at this time, presented by this station and the Electric Company's Public Information Program. Now, this is Wendell Niles, your narrator, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when your Better Living Radio Theater will present another program in this series. Until then, wishing you better living.